right, I believe we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about Lightning Lab Electric. I have a few questions prepared for Brett Holland, who is head of acceleration at Creative HQ. So let's just dive right into it, Brett.
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. Give me the 101. What is an accelerator?
Okay, that's a great question. I get asked that a lot. Since my title says head of acceleration, at parties they ask, what is that?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, so an accelerator basically is a program that is 3 months long, that brings in a cohort of teams that are working on innovative solutions, runs them through a process to help them discover the problem very specifically in the market, understand how the solution solves the problem, iterates on getting a solution to get traction, and then prepares them for a point, an inflection point that could be investment in some way. So if it's a startup, it prepares them for investors, angel investors, or funds to invest in them for the next stage. If it's an internal program for a corporation, it would be, do we want to keep this project going? How do we keep it going? What's the next level? How do we invest in it? So it's basically the inflection point is we've proven that there's value. What do we do next? So that in its purest form is what we try to do in an accelerator. We do that by, I mentioned we bring in a process. We use a lean startup as our underlying process with a bit of agile development in there, but it's a process that helps us go through those different stages of first market validation. How do you conduct interviews? How do you do an early adopter agreement? How do you engage with determining what a problem is? To then into solution space, how do you ideate a solution? How do you develop the interaction with the user groups that you've first talked to get them engaged? How do you get their feedback? How do you iterate on that feedback into how do you set up pilot tests? How do you get more users on board to sign up to test? Those are things that's all part of the process. We also bring in coaches that help you through those stages of the process. We bring in industry experts that help you really understand the dynamics of the industry around the solution you're working on. We bring in functional experts who are people like that really know how to run a marketing campaign online, or really know a lot about user experience design or sales, or functions of the company.
Sure.
And then last and certainly not least, we bring in mentors that help you through that journey and interpret the information you're getting and help you develop a strategy that builds the company going forward.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. This accelerator is a little different in that it's not only people discovering their problems, but some people maybe have already understood their problems, or some teams coming. So what are benefits to people who have done a lot of problem discovery and understand that? Are we going to develop that further in this program? What else can we offer those people?
Yeah, no, so the model has been used in a lot of different ways, and it's a model that's used all over the world. So we're learning a lot about its effectiveness, this 3-month model, focused time and effort. And what we found for more mature companies, and you see accelerator programs in more mature markets that exclusively focus on more mature companies, is that at any given stage, it gives you focus and attention on the problem. And so let's say a company that's gone through the product discovery, problem discovery, has already gotten their first level investment, has gotten into the market, and are looking to determine what their growth engine is. So they're starting to get information back from the market. It's another good place to bring a company in to really use a similar process again, same people, mentors, industry experts, functional experts, and coaches to figure out, well, how do we interpret all this information, and how do we create even a faster growth engine to take advantage of the information and the initial adopters that we have.
Great. So that being said, as far as applying, some people may need funding, some people may not need funding. So what are the options that we have for this specific accelerator as far as funding goes?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. With Lightning Lab Electric, what we decided to do is offer a convertible note of $20,000 to teams who want it, who get accepted into the program and who want it. A convertible note is a loan effectively that converts into equity at a later date.
Ah.
That's its intent. So it doesn't set a value for your company. It's not an equity investment. We're giving you a loan, so you get access to the money. But the intent is when you do take your first equity round, which may be after the program is done and you're looking for outside investors, then we convert on that round. And the risk premium we take is a discount to that round. So we put a 30% discount on it that would convert. So if you're taking money at $1 million valuation, we actually get a 30% on that discount on that valuation. But that's really what that is. But you don't have to take it. So if you don't need money to come in, you don't have to take it. That way you don't have equity that you owe us eventually. So it's purely optional. So for the teams who want it, it's actually a pretty good deal. We're willing to take on that first stage of risk in the company. And for the teams who don't want it, then they don't have to take it.
That sounds really flexible, actually. So what about this program specifically? You said we've done a lot of programs in the past. What about this one excites you the most? And what is different about it? Like what really sets it aside?
What excites me, I'll get to work with you on this program, James. I mean, really, come on, it's more exciting than that.
Okay, what's the second?
No, so it's a neat program in that the energy sector. So we're focusing this Lightning Lab on the electricity, actually specifically electricity within the energy sector, is a hugely exciting sector that is just ripe for disruption. We hear it all the time. We ran road shows and we ran this innovation challenge, and everybody we engaged with, whether it was innovators out there, people working on startups, the corporates that we engage with, both our sponsors and others that we talk to, the people who want to see this ecosystem grow, the Electricity Authority, Callahan, NZTE, they all said there's so much opportunity in this area, in this space. It's ripe for disruption because not only are new technologies coming to play, but there's so much data that's being collected that I think everybody indicated is underutilized right now. We can learn so much more about the consumer patterns. We can learn so much more about the efficiencies of the distribution. We can learn a lot about the entire ecosystem through that data and good analysis of the data. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Plus, as we know, and the Z Energy folks who were sponsors said this, the industry is changing. So disruption is coming from all over the place. So electric vehicles are not the only thing, and different technologies that we see in other parts of the world, like solar taking on, and battery technology developing, but they're all starting to converge. And you're seeing around the world lots of disruption. So we see the benefit of having a nice sandbox here. You have regulators, interested parties who want to help, corporates who want to come in, so we can set up a nice sandbox to work in here.
Data from the EA.
We've got data that's coming from the EA. We've got definitely a deregulated environment compared to the world to be able to do work here. So I think it's extremely exciting to see innovation that we can help take hold, create a foothold in here in New Zealand that could not only transform our industry, but could be things that we export around the world.
Yeah, that is really exciting. I was really lucky and I got to go actually work on the roadshow. And we had Helen and Dave Edwards come speak on deep learning and artificial intelligence. And the same conversation happened, just like you said, that it's entirely ready for disruption. Everyone who's a part of the sector is saying that not much has changed on a grand scale for at least 30 to 20 years. So it's definitely a great time to really bring new ideas to the table. Back to a little more of the technical side. A lot of people have questions about F-Success and how.
Sure.
So if you could just explain a little bit about why that process is there and how it benefits them.
Yeah, absolutely. So since we've been doing Lightning Lab, we've been using F-Success as a program to take in our applications. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, most of the accelerators around the world use F-Success. So by us using it, we get to see applicants from all over the world that are finding us through F-Success and saying, well, I'm interested in an accelerator. There's this one in energy, in the electricity sector in New Zealand. So that's one reason. But the second is it manages the process very well. So when you go, you click through our website. When you go to Lightning Lab, you can go right on the homepage and it says, here's the electric program. You click on it, the first thing you'll see is apply here.
Yeah.
So it'll link you over to F6S. It's just an application that asks you the questions that we're going to need to understand your business, what you've done, what your team's all about, the critical things that we'll need to determine, can you guys actually get value? Can you as a team get value out of the program? And can we help you?
Yeah.
And that's really what we're assessing. So ultimately, the people who get in, who fill out the application on F6S and go through the selection process, we say, absolutely, we want to offer you a spot in. The teams that get in are the ones that we feel can get the most value out of it.
Yeah. So
can emerge meeting their goals of growth and whatnot. So that's the assessment process for us. So F6S, if you have any questions about it, talk to you.
Definitely ask me.
Yeah.
Or email me, info@lightninglab.co.nz. We'll get back to you that way as well.
Yeah. The good thing about F6S too, that works better than, I think we tried Google Docs at one point.
Yeah.
But the good thing that works about F6S is you can start the process and leave it where you left off at any time and then pick it back up again. Google Docs doesn't, the Google Forms doesn't work that way, right? If you don't fill it all out, you lose it, right? So F6S, you can start it, and we encourage everybody, get started at least. Right? That way, you'll get on our radar, we can see who's starting, and then you can interact with us and ask questions about it, but at least get started. And at any time, you can come back to right where you left off again and continue.
Yeah, it's really important to have an iterative process because we are here to answer questions as well as you go through your application. So if you do have questions, we're more than happy to give you feedback on that before you do officially submit your application. So reach out and definitely work on it as you learn. So the F6S is the first step in the process, and then we have an assessment phase. But then can you speak to the actual structure of the program itself? So it's a 3-month deal. What happens from day one to demo day?
Yeah. So it's a 3-month program where we expect that the teams will be resident in the program. Now, I know some accelerators around have done what we call virtual programs, where basically you can be wherever and you come in at different times and you meet as a cohort. We've found that if we're going to focus in on really improving, understanding if there's value, improving your odds to take advantage of that value and get ready for the next stage, get to a point where you're investable, we pretty much have to do that in a hands-on way.
Yeah.
We can bring all of the resources to you that way. If you're working with us in our premises, we can bring all of the speakers, all of the advisors, all of the mentors, the coaches in to all work together. And as a cohort, we can attract some of the best people in the country. Yeah. And we've been able to do that over the programs. And we certainly are going to do this in this program as well. But the trade-off is that you've got to come to Wellington for the 3 months. Yeah. So the start date is actually the 12th of June. We'll do a little boot camp for a couple days before that. Okay. The middle of the end of the week before. So we'll expect people to show up for that.
Yeah, I think that starts the 7th is the boot camp.
The 7th, yep. So if you're going to be in the program, plan to come to Wellington and relocate for the 3-month period. And then on the 12th, when we get going, your first day, you'll start meeting mentors. You'll start meeting the coaches. You'll understand, what's expected of you as far as going out to market and validating your problem. You'll get coached in sessions of how to do that. And you start that journey that goes with, if you look at a day in a life of someone in the accelerator, I'd say about 20% of your time is spent either with a mentor or in a speaker session or with a coach. Yeah. And 80% of your time is doing. Yeah. So going out and accomplishing, spending time with customers, users, spending time with potential partners, spending time developing your business. Yeah. So we try to give as much space to do that as possible and as much help as we can as needed. But there's enough programming to where you can keep on track with that.
Great. And what about the demo day itself? That's a lot of excitement in one day.
Yeah.
A lot of.
So what we've been doing, demo day is the culmination for us. It's our big event. It has evolved. It started off in our first program. I think there were about 350 people that came to the demo day event. I would say half of them were investors, or maybe more than half. it is evolved to where it's become even more of a community event.
Yeah.
So within this program, the electric program, we have several sponsors. So we have Genesis and Unison and GE and Westpac all coming in to, be involved with the team. So they want to celebrate at the back end. The community at large of the electricity sector wants to celebrate. The startup community wants to celebrate as well. So the demo day event has become more of an event. The last one we ran had about 600 people in it. And we've even carved out, and we'll be doing this in the current program we're running, we've even carved out a separate event for investors.
Yeah.
That gives them, back to what the original intent was, is to get in front of investors, gives them a room of just them with the startups that are looking for money, the teams that are looking for investment. So everybody going through the program gets to talk about what they've done and celebrate through a pitch. So they talk about what they've done in a pitch and then celebrate in the event. But the teams that are looking for investment, that are ready for investment, we're actually doing a separate event earlier that day to pitch directly to investors. So that's demo day. Is equal parts exposure to investors, but celebrating what we've done and looking at the next phase of where we can go.
Community engagement, definitely. Yeah. That's fantastic. That pretty much covers a lot of what I wanted to find out. Do you have anything else that you want to share, or what else? What do you think some of the challenges are actually going to be for this particular accelerator?
Yeah, well, so there's challenges every time we run an accelerator.
Yeah.
And every team that comes in. The first challenge is making that decision of, is this for me as a team? And making sure that you have a team that can operate effectively.
Yeah.
We look at teams very critically, and team is everything to us.
Yeah.
And you have to have a unit that can operate effectively in Lightning Lab. So team for us has 4 critical roles.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit about team. The first is you got to have a visionary. So someone who can lead the charge on what you're trying to accomplish, can galvanize the team around it, bring the right resources together, keep pushing the team forward. Truly the team lead, but keeps the passion going about, the problem you're trying to solve, why you're here in the first place. Every team has to have a leader or visionary that does that. In addition to that role, you have to have what we call as a hustler.
Okay.
And that's someone, as I say, someone who can sell ice to Eskimos, right?
Yeah.
Someone who just looks at the challenge of interacting with customers, interacting with partners as a challenge that excites them.
Yeah.
That they're ready to get out the door and get going. So they're just constantly kind of on edge to find out more information, to validate hypotheses out in the market. So you have to have a role that is driving the team towards discovery by talking to people, not introverted discovery of, well, let's think our way through this.
Yeah.
Because in this lab, and we found the best way to build startups is have that communication with the user community and often. So someone's got to lead that charge. The third role is you got to have a hustler. You got to have a hacker.
Yeah.
You got to have someone who can build.
You can actually make the stuff you're trying to sell.
Exactly. So if it's a data solution, you got to have a data analyst, someone who maybe knows AI, machine learning. If it's a software solution, you got to have a developer in there. If it's, we work with other companies that have supply chain solutions, then you have to have a supply chain designers, that knows how to design a supply chain. So there's someone who can build the solution in whatever format you're in.
Yeah.
And then the last we call hipster or designer.
Yeah.
Someone who can translate the needs of the users into the features and functionality of the product. So basically, whoever's laying out the spec for the builder, that's the hipster. And they can interpret, they're good at interpreting needs into functionality and features and really understanding the value that the customers are looking for.
Yeah.
So what things do they value in a solution, and making sure that the solution delivers on that value. You can have all those roles covered in 2 people.
Yeah.
It's somewhat rare. I've never seen them covered in one.
It's a lot of talent.
Yeah. You can certainly have them covered in 3.
Okay.
and any more than 4, and you're pretty much overlapping.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So we say, the most effective teams are typically 3 or 4 people, but they have to have those roles covered.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it's challenging. So you talked
Yeah.
about, the question was, what's challenging about this? Well, it's challenging to find the people that can do that.
Yeah.
And get them available to spend 3 months to do it. But we're here to help you.
Yeah.
So we have a couple things that can help. And one, we have an assessment that you can use called the VH3,
Yep.
Visionary, Hacker, Hustler, Hipster, that can assess. It's basically a personality profile for those roles.
Yeah.
That you can use to assess your own capabilities and other people on your team and see how well balanced you are. Second, we have a lot of resources here at Creative HQ, as you know, that they kind of come through that we work with that are interested. Online, we have a find a team.
Yep.
That you can fill out a form and let us know that you're either looking to be on a team, so you can be one of those resources for another team, or you're looking to fill a gap.
Yep.
So you can let us know. We can help play matchmaker. So we can certainly do that. And then, you can be on your own and, be working across your network, but we're here to help.
Yeah.
So here again, it goes back to, well, the earlier you engage with us, the earlier you start filling out your application or reach out to us, the sooner we can get busy helping you put together the right resources on the team. So I'd say that's the biggest challenge. When it comes to in-program, the challenge sometimes is keeping up with the energy of the teams. Making sure that we're, it's a tough thing to run at times. It takes a lot of energy from us, but we're, happy to give it. But, getting the right mix of resources together at the right time is always a challenge, but I think it's one of the things that we excel in. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more in it to figure out how we can help the founders get the right team to be most effective. And I think that's the biggest thing to focus on that.
I think you agree. I agree with you in saying that the teams are really critical, especially for the assessment process and fitting to the program and seeing how we can benefit them. But how much of that is a factor for investors, would you say?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, I've heard so many investors when you go to them, and I'm an investor myself, and I think the same way. And you ask them, well, what are you interested? What do you look for? Expecting like, well, I like fintech solutions, or I like, biotech solutions. And so many investors go, I like teams.
Really?
Yeah. People. And I quote Trevor Dickinson. I think we're going to have
the next webinar. Yeah, that's right.
Trevor Dickinson was the Angel Investor of the Year last year.
Okay.
Yeah. And has probably put more investments into the community than any other individual in New Zealand.
Wow.
And I guarantee you, if you ask Trevor, because I've heard him answer this way probably 10 times, what do you look for? He says team. First I look for team, then I look for team, then I look for team, and then I kind of like fintech. So it means everything to an investor. And because they know that, it doesn't matter how good the opportunity is. So yes, you validated there's a problem. Yes, you've determined a solution that can fit. Yes, you've gotten initial traction on that. That creates an opportunity for investment. Doesn't matter how big that opportunity is. If you don't have a team that can execute on it, you don't have an investment that's going to return. And I mean, it just seems basic.
Yeah.
But that's everything in this game.
Makes a lot of sense. Sounds like a real barrier to entry. But I think that's kind of something that our program would like to help develop as well, because being in the physical space in Wellington, that being a requirement, and working next to each other for 3 months in not high stress, but definitely high action.
It's a high energy and intensity.
Yeah,
because we don't want to waste anyone's time.
No.
I mean, we are absolutely focused on helping the founder on that journey. That's our highest priority. That's why I say, I mean, our challenge is to make sure that we get people in who can take advantage of it and get value out of it.
Yeah.
But our highest priority is working on the people in the program and that journey. And yes, it can be transformative, but it's a high energy journey. And it's one where people ask me all the time, well, why 3 months?
Yeah.
Why is it accelerated 3 months? Or, there's others that are different periods of time. We found that it is the minimum amount of time that you need to conduct those things that we talked about in order to get to, proving you're investable. And we decide that why go beyond the minimum?
Yeah.
I mean, if we can do that in 3 months, let's keep it to 3 months. Because frankly, Beyond that, we can help you at Creative HQ. And we've got programs to help beyond the accelerator. But the accelerator itself is to judge whether your concept solves a problem and that problem's worth solving and you can create value that's investable.
Yep.
Or you can take that period to grow and really show the growth trajectory if you're a little bit more mature business. But 3 months is an appropriate and good amount of time to do that, right? But it's only an appropriate and good amount of time if you actually spend your time wisely, bring a lot of energy to it, work very effectively and efficiently. Sometimes that means working some pretty good hours, but taking full advantage of that time period. And we encourage that all the teams do that. And because we have teams that do that, that attracts good mentors, good advisors, good coaches. So as our friend Nick Garrettson says all the time, is an advisor, one of our coaches, he says, energy attracts energy. I mean, it's one of the it's one of the principles of the physical world, right? Atoms attract atoms, energy attracts energy, right? And if you bring energy to a program like this and you work hard, you're going to attract very good energy back to you that can help you.
Yeah.
That's the whole genesis of an accelerator.
I like it. Like a pool of energy constantly flooding in.
Exactly.
Well, that's actually about our time. Unless you have some wrap-up comments, I just would like to say thank you for giving your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate it. And another thanks to our sponsors. Brett mentioned them earlier, but Zed, Westpac, Genesis, GE, Unison, and of course the New Zealand Trade Enterprise. We really appreciate you guys supporting us.
And Callahan Innovation.
And Callahan Innovation.
Love Callahan.
Last but definitely not least in that order. So if you do have questions, please reach out to me. My email is james.swope@lightninglab.co.nz. I'll also type it in here. Or info@lightninglab.co.nz. We'll also answer your questions there. Our website, lightninglab.co.nz, also has a ton of information resources about the accelerator, and that's also where you apply. So definitely take full advantage of the resources. And I'd like to say again that Brett pointed out, we have a place where you can join the team on that website. So check it out. There's so much you can do to help yourself move forward and to answer all the questions that you have. So unless you have any wrap-up comments, Brett, I think
great. I look forward to working with you on it, James. It's going to be great. And look forward to talking to the teams that are interested and the founders that are interested in being in the program. So really look forward to engaging with you and helping you determine if this is the right thing for that that journey of creating value that you're trying to create.
And thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. But that's going to be us. So reach out if you have questions. Thanks again.